Eric Horn here with Brett Dawson after the Thunder's 109-98 win over the short-handed Dallas Mavericks tonight, the Dirkless Dallas Mavericks. And, this would be standard operating procedure. Great Russell Westbrook game, 45 points. Hyper efficient tonight from Russell Westbrook, 16 to 29 from the field, had 17 points in the fourth quarter. We've gotten used to Russell Westbrook having these great games, but it was almost soured, or it actually was soured because the Thunder lost a key piece tonight in Enes Kanter.
Yeah, they really did. Westbrook was great. Dallas kind of took away everybody else and made Westbrook beat him, and he basically did that. But Enes Kanter, who was not having his best game, he's been playing great in January. A frustrating night. Steven Adams said some things kind of boiled over. He was upset about it. It seemed like a couple of different plays that kind of upset him. He goes to the bench. He punches a chair really hard, and as often happens, the chair wins. A fractured right forearm for him. Don't have a timetable for him for a return, but it's going to be an extended stay. This is going to be an extended stay on the injured list. He's going to be out for a long period of time with an injury that severe.
This was a carryover from last night's game where Kanter had a great game in New Orleans on the first night of a back-to-back. He had 17 points, 11 rebounds, but he caught an elbow underneath the basket from Pelican star Anthony Davis. It was an inadvertent elbow, caught him underneath his left eye. He had to get stitches in that game. Kanter seemed to shake it off. At the time he was frustrated. He slammed the towel and walked off, came back and played a little bit in the second quarter. I mean, not second quarter, second half. But, he tweeted about it last night. He showed the big scar underneath his cheek. But it's been a frustrating 2 days for Enes Kanter in terms of the physical play that he's had to deal with.
Yeah, and he even said before the game tonight in the locker room, just kind of hanging around, that he knew, Anthony Davis is just not the kind of guy that does that to you purposely. He knows that. He knows him a little bit. But he was a little frustrated. There was a point tonight I thought maybe he got kind of smacked there. He was holding that area right under his eye as he rounded on the floor once. There was a charge called on him. He missed a layup where Cam Payne threw him a lob and he just kind of hit it off the back of the rim, and Cam was telling him to dunk it. He just had a lot of plays. There was a play where he ended up, not long before it happened, it kind of ended up on the floor and smacked the floor pretty hard in frustration too. So, Steven Adams said, and that's the guy who probably knows Enes Kanter best on the roster, he'd never really seen him act like this, and it seemed like there was just a lot of stuff that was building up, and it exploded in that hit of the chair.
Yeah, and for the short term, it's a thing that really hurts the Thunder in terms of going into these next two games against Cleveland and San Antonio, two of the best teams in the league. But long term, the effects of this could be significant, not just on the court, but off. Kanter had made himself into one of the most efficient big men in the league. He's going to be a guy who the Thunder could possibly use as a trade piece or think about as a trade piece when the trade deadline comes February 23rd. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out in terms of the Thunder going and getting an additional piece or thinking about what they need to bring in.
Yeah, absolutely. It changes so much about the way they play in that second unit. He's been so valuable, but that's the other thing. He's been one of the best low post players in the league over the last month and a half or so. He's played great, and he is the best, most tradable asset they really have. And so now you're in a position where you think, do you need to bolster your roster? Do you need to get better because of all the scoring you lose? And if so, what pieces do you really have to go out and do that?
Okay, back to Westbrook for a second, because we can't overshadow the fact that he did have a really good night tonight. Didn't have a triple-double, but you know what? Billy Donovan said it before. Just because Russell Westbrook doesn't have a triple-double, it doesn't make what he's doing otherwise any less significant. 45 points, like I said, on 16 of 29 shooting. A super efficient night from him. And the Thunder came into this game really struggling on their 6-game road trip in terms of their third quarter results. The past two games in particular, they had some pretty terrible third quarters. And Russell Westbrook, I think, came out at 13 points in that third quarter, built them up a lead, and really gave them an advantage going into the fourth.
Yeah, they played great. And Billy Donovan said, we had talked about this today on Thunder Thursday, that those third quarters have been different. There's not been one real consistent problem. They just, sometimes it was turnovers, whatever it was over that 6 games, they'd been bad in all those third quarters. But tonight, one of the things Billy Donovan said, maybe just a lack of focus, maybe just not coming into the third quarter with the same focus. That focus was lacking. They looked very much in the first half like a team on the second night of a back-to-back, playing a team that they kind of expected to roll in Dallas. In the third quarter, a much, much more focused team, looked a lot more dialed in, even without Kanter out there to help in that second part of the third quarter like he normally would.
17 of the Thunder's 22 points in the fourth quarter, Russell Westbrook. The Mavericks shot out and scored 11 straight points, got the game to about 4 points, I think 87-83, and Russell Westbrook basically said, I had enough of this, came back in the game at around the 9-minute mark and scored 9 points, and the rest was history. For more on Enes Kanter and his injury and the aftermath, here's some post-game from Billy Donovan, Russell Westbrook, and Steven Adams.
I thought in the first half, the three-point line and our turnovers really hurt us. I thought in the second half, we defended the three-point line much better and thought we played a lot better. And obviously, Russell in the fourth quarter was terrific in terms of opening up the game for us. So, coming from back-to-back and you get a chance to win both of them, I think it's always positive.
One thing to lose a guy to an injury, but one thing to lose a guy to an injury, but the way it happened, how much of a frustration is that?
I didn't see it. Obviously, I heard, and I talked to Matt a little bit about it. I have not had a chance to talk to Enes. When I got off the court, I met with the team for the schedule tomorrow, and then this next road trip, and then talk to the medical staff. So I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I want to talk to Enes first, before I comment, just to kind of get his perspective on things. And I think I'd probably be misspeaking it without speaking to him.
Eric?
Yeah, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoma. Russell didn't have his usual big numbers, game assists and rebounds, but his scoring was sky high, and he found his shot after several games. Is that a sign that we can win sort of the old-fashioned Russell as well as the new Russell?
Well, I think this is the part of him where he. I could tell in the timeout that he felt like he was getting ready to kind of explode, to be honest with you, because he felt like he could do some things on post-ups and in the short corner on the baseline, and even at the elbow areas. And then he had a couple drives. I thought the play that really ignited him and got him going was the shot he missed in the lane. He came down and got the offensive rebound and won. That was a big play, and I thought that really opened things up where he got, for whatever reason, after that moment, into a really good rhythm. But I think it's just a tribute to him. A lot of his passes tonight did not lead to necessarily made baskets, but he played very well in terms of trying to get the ball to guys. He got the ball to where it needed to go. But he impacts the game in a lot of different ways. And tonight he impacted it with his scoring. But the next night it could be assists. The next night it could be rebounding. There's just a lot of different ways he impacts the game.
Did that play where you kind of stole a rebound and put it back and got the foul, kind of 4-point possession, did that supercharge you down the stretch?
It was definitely a good momentum swing, I think, in our direction to kind of get us going, get our crowd involved. That was good for us.
How do you feel for Enes right now?
It's tough, man. Especially to do it the way he did it. I think it's very unfortunate, but he's a strong man, and he'll be back better.
Russell, did you have any conversations with Enes after he left the game?
No.
Russell, you guys have gotten into a rhythm of really utilizing Enes in that post on offense. How are things going to change with him being out in terms of how y'all execute out the post?
It will change.
How do you think that'll be?
We gotta see, figure it out.
Is it difficult to accept how he injured himself? I mean, guys get hurt all the time, but the way that happened.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like I said, it's very unfortunate, but things happen. And he definitely, if he wanted to take it back, he definitely could. He would. But I think now we gotta look forward and try to figure out what's the positive things, get him back healthy as soon as possible.
You've been in the league for so long, you know that your team changes throughout the year all the time. You saw Victor's been out, Cam's been out. How, as a leader, do you kind of deal with the ever-changing nature of your team?
Just come out and compete. I think one thing that can't change is how hard you play, regardless of who's on the floor, who's not. If you come out and compete at a high level, it gives ourselves a chance to win the game.
Just trying to be more physical, mate. They're just running their offense like it was like shoot around, mate. No, they didn't feel us at all. And so, try to be more physical. Victor actually did led the way with that, putting a lot of pressure on old mate. Seth Curry, him. So just wearing him down, picking him up full court. Same with Cam, and that just kind of helps out a lot with the pace of their actions, and it kind of buys us time, the defender.
You think that forced them into the more difficult three-point shots, or just no three-point shots at all? I think they only hit 2 the rest of the way.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Chick States, but that's what we talked about at halftime, that they made 9 threes or something at halftime. Just going out there, being more physical, checking them all the way out to the line, making them drive, settle for 2-pointers, non-paid twos.
How you feeling for Ennis right now?
He's all right, mate. Still alive, so happy.
Are you wearing that shirt for Ennis?
No, this is just laundry day, to be honest, mate. I haven't done my laundry. So,
Good shirt, though.
yeah, let's do it.
Steven, what do you guys have to do if he's out for any prolonged period of time? What will other guys have to do in his absence?
Just play their part, mate. It ain't like it's kind of like Russell going out, right? We don't expect no one else to go in there and do what Russell does. It's just a team thing. Because that's like one of the worst things to do, is to try and simulate his game, because that's not going to work. We're still going to stay within the system and just rely on that. And that's fair. It's the best thing to do, right?
Did he say anything to anybody before he left about how he injured himself?
No. Yeah. I mean, something like that, but he didn't mean to do it, obviously. Like, it's just one of those really frustrating times, man. He just happened to, like, just did what he did, you know? And so he came back, he's already, like, hard on himself. Like, no one else can be as hard as he is on himself. So he's probably just feeling so under the weather, man. Feel bad for him, but, you know, it's all good, man. Give him some time. He'll be back soon.
As his friend and teammate, I'm sure you've seen him get frustrated before. How do you handle him as a buddy, as a pal when he's in that mode?
Kind of just try to tone him down, but it was just one of those series of things. It's all the little things built up. I haven't seen him like do that. But yeah, it was just like the continuous things building up, and then it just like exploded. And to be honest, it was just one of those perfect things, because he hit the seat, but like the seat was like a little, you know what I mean? Like it's not flat. Yeah, like it's not flat. It's like, why is it not flat? Like it's one of those like things that kind of. Just one of those things, I would say.